Things that you like will always make you feel happy. So I'm showing you some pictures of a favourite place of mine. It's Switzerland. I love Switzerland. And if I could be there, I would. There's a reason, another reason I'm showing you Switzerland, and it will come up a little bit later on. But life isn't always about everything being lovely and what we want. At the moment, we're living in a time of high anxiety. People really worried about the world situation. It's a long time since I've heard people worrying about another world war. And yet at the moment, we hear that. So I was asked to share something about reducing anxiety. Things that might just help us a little bit. I want to share with you a story. A few years ago now, I was working as a Salvation Army officer on what we call the Red Shield, working with the British Army out in Germany, working with soldiers, their families, and it was a wonderful time. On one occasion, I was asked to go with soldiers of my regiment as they went on a massive exercise in Poland, very close to Ukraine, where war is now going on, as they prepared to go to Afghanistan and Iraq. My job was to work in a big old Cold War Russian tank factory. The posters of the Russian tanks were still on the wall, the writing was in Russian, and my job was to be there, to provide food, comfort, a listening ear for the soldiers when they came back from the field. It was a wonderful time. But one of the people I had to speak to was a young lieutenant. It was approaching Remembrance Sunday. Most of the soldiers would gather from the exercise and take part in a big British Army remembrance service in the middle of Poland. But this lieutenant knew that his troops had to be ready for an attack at midday on the 11th of November. They couldn't come back for the remembrance service, and so he wanted someone to do the service for him. He asked me. I would have loved the opportunity to go and lead a field remembrance service, but I couldn't. I had to get back to Germany to lead a remembrance service for our regiment back in Gütersloh. And so I said to the lieutenant, why don't you do it? And he said he could. But all we had available for him to read from was at Gideon's New Testament and Psalms. And this lieutenant was Jewish. He didn't know the New Testament, but he knew the Psalms. And so we sat together and read through various things in the book of Psalms until we came to this. And this is why I shared pictures of Switzerland, because these are the words from Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. That reading spoke of God's protection. It spoke about the fact that God is always there. God will keep you from stumbling. God is more certain than all the things of this world, even the biggest things like the mountains. God is bigger than that. It's a reading full of promise. And yet the soldiers who were having that word shared with them knew that they were going into danger. Today, we, as Christians who believe those promises, know that this world is full of anxiety and problems. But the big part of the promise is that it's a promise for eternity. We're reminded that God is with us now and will be with us forever. People will struggle. People will die. People will be anxious. But the Bible reading isn't wrong. It's a promise that if we take time to look to God, to hear His word and His promises, to consider what He's saying and to talk to Him in prayer, He will be with us always. Remember this promise. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. What a wonderful way to beat anxiety. Amen.